In November 2023, now this rare meteorite weighing nearly 25 kilograms was discovered in the remote region in Niger. It's also the biggest piece of Mars on our planet. It was recently sold to an anonymous buyer for $4.3 million at a Sotheby's auction in New York. It's unclear now if Niger got a single dime from this, but its government wants to know how it got there, alleging its sale is comparable to illicit international trafficking. Paul Sereno is a paleontologist and founder of Niger Heritage, and he joins me now from Chicago. Paul, welcome to the program, and really grateful for your time. I suppose the big question is, how did this 25-kilo Martian meteorite get from Niger to Sotheby's in New York?
Well, that's more mysterious than how it got from Mars to Niger. But we don't know, except that it was taken without doubt overland, probably through several hands, arrived in Italy, where it was put on display briefly last year. And scientists studied it and reported where it came from. It's a place I know well. I discovered dinosaurs there. It's a beautiful area of desert. They often find meteorites there because it's nothing but desert. And so they survive. There's no water to degrade them. And as you say, it is an extraordinary specimen. It's a rare meteorite made of minerals characteristic of Mars. And such things, whether they come from Mars or other places in the cosmos, they land in a country, and the country has a right to them as part of their heritage. If you go to Mars and dig up a piece of Mars, you can sell it. You can intercept one on the way to Earth. But if it lands on Earth, then we generally regard it as belonging to the country where it landed. And so that's the situation we're in.
Yes, and what are your thoughts about the manner in which this was ultimately sold at a Sotheby's auction to an anonymous buyer?
Well, so you got to put yourself back in 2023. You're in a country that just sustained a coup. The ministers were replaced months before this meteorite was found. And I have an assistant in the background, sorry. And so the country was in absolutely no shape to be considering things like this. And they have laws protecting rare minerals, just like the fossils that I dig up and the humans that I've dug up, the archaeological remains. And so I have little doubt that the transporter, the buyer, and the papers are all anonymous for a reason, that they're not of an official nature.
Yes, I mean, you've been on record describing this as brazen, but from your perspective, did Sotheby's have the right to facilitate the sale, given the identities of the seller and buyers have not been disclosed?
I think it's so improbable as to be impossible. But what I'm hoping is that as the world has grown smaller, and as we've had accords now sitting for ever since 1970, we've had accords which Australia, United States, Niger all signed to say that rare minerals, fossils, live animals, plants, dead ones that are found in your country, artifacts, these are part of your patrimony. And so what I'm hoping is that whoever has this meteorite enjoys it for a number of years. And by the time we get a museum ready and a case ready for that meteorite, we're hoping that, ultimately it'll be returned to Niger and everyone will be happy.
Yes, what are the avenues then for the Niger government to push through, with the various accords that are there, international conventions and the like, for it to be, for the owner of it to then give it back or be forced to give it back if necessary?
Well, it depends a bit. It's anonymous, so we don't know which country ultimately it is residing in. But things have changed. And so entire tyrannosaurs, for example, have been returned to Mongolia. I've returned one myself that I got from a trader. A dealer wanted me to describe it. I said, I'll describe it as long as you can hand it over to science and the world. We determined it came from Mongolia, and it was described and returned. And these kinds of things happen because countries are stepping up when it's on their territory It was sold in the United States. We don't know where it was sold to, but ultimately countries are stepping up and taking responsibility.
Yes, I do want to point out what Sotheby's had said, because it says that as with everything they sell, all relevant documentation was in order at each stage in accordance with best practice and the requirements of the countries involved. Do you accept that?
Well, let's see it. If it is true, let's see it. Because the law in Niger, 1997 law, which was actually put in place because of the quantity of dinosaurs that we were finding in the country, uses the wording of the 1970 UNESCO law. It talks about the need for a multi-ministerial task force to actually sign a piece of document to remove something like a rare mineral or a fossil from the country. Hasn't happened up to this point. So they're saying it happened, but we haven't seen the documentation yet. So, I'm hoping that we can all find a happy ending to this very interesting piece of Mars, which really could bring scholars to the country of Niger. It could start something very positive for that country.
Yes. Is there enough of an outcry, I suppose, in Niger? Because, I'll point out that last month, there were the Buddha jewels that were returned back to India after a big outcry there. They were also up for auction in Sotheby's. Does that give you hope that perhaps this can also be possible?
It does. And, there was similar outcries in Australia when the opalized marine reptile, that was an unbelievable fossil, was found, and the owner decided that they may sell it, and people banded together. The laws in Niger are actually pretty clear. They're even clearer than that, because they don't have a law that allows private owners to sell things. And so their law is pretty clear, as it is in Canada and many other places, that it belongs to the country. And so we're hoping that these laws are respected, and I believe they are. The world is getting smaller and smaller, and we love the heritage of each country, and each country needs to respect that heritage. So I think it's going to be resolved.
Yes, and finally, Paul, what is the significance, to Niger of a find like this? This 25-kilogram meteorite that's traveled millions of miles to get to where it is.
Well, put it this way. Australia has gifts to the world of life, of fossils, of deserts that are unbelievable. And a couple hundred years ago, before the Australian Museum was set up, they used to be taken to other places like England and so on. And now we properly place them. It attracts visitors, scholars, and the like. And Niger deserves that opportunity, and I think it's going to get it.
Okay, let's hope that we can see it publicly once again, this amazing, massive meteorite. Paul Sereno, thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome.